call the meeting to order and say the pledge of allegiance. We have our flag on the board. Temporary, until we move upstairs. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You alright? I just thought that would be weird. Okay. So, we need to approve the agenda. Is there any additions or corrections on the agenda?
If there's no changes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion by Stevens, support by Stover. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All ayes, motion carries. All right, we have a spot for citizen comments in the beginning and one at the end. So if anybody wants to have a citizen's comment, you can do it now or later.
I'll reserve mine for the
You're
end.
on the agenda, so, yeah.
I'll wait till later. We're
Okay.
waiting with bated
If
breath.
we decline it now, do we have twice the time when,
Oh, yeah,
the
sure,
second
yeah.
Sure.
He's dreaming.
yeah,
All right, so moving along, we have our consent agenda, which is our minutes, our financial report, and payment of the bills. I did have one small correction on the minutes, which I already told Vicki about, on page 2, letter E, Joe voted yes. So she's gonna change that on our minutes. So is there any other corrections, comments, concerns?
I had none,
Okay.
and I have no questions on the
Great.
bills, so I'll make a motion, bills be paid.
Alright. Do I have support?
I'll support that.
Alright.
Okay, but now do we have to make a motion to the amended minutes?
No, it's part of it. It's part of it.
Okay.
In the minutes, she's gonna put with one correction.
Okay.
So, alright, so we have motion and support. We have motion by Stover, support by Stevens. This will be a roll call vote. Anderson, yes.
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes, it must be another light bulb.
Colleen?
Yes.
All the yeses. Motion carries. Right.
Previous slide.
We have some correspondence. We don't have correspondence, but we have a couple FYI, so I'll talk about them right now. We have our newsletter, which our building department employee Katie Holt and Vicki worked on, and it looks very nice. We just would like you guys to look it over if you have any corrections, additions. There's a little spot in the middle here. If you have something else you want us to add, if not, we'll find like a picture or something
Sure.
just to put in that space. And these will be going out with the assessments, which will be going out on the 22nd. So if you have anything that you want us to fix, or, yeah, get it to us as soon as possible so we can get that going.
Is this county dispatch number the one you call instead of 911? Okay.
Should I put that on
Mhm.
there?
Yeah, I would put non-emergency.
Not emergency, okay.
Mhm.
Put it in there. All right, so last month on our agenda, we got approved, Vicki and I got approved to go to the Clerks, Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks Institute. We did get our scholarship.
Yeah.
So we don't have to pay for that, so
Good
that's
deal.
good. Yeah, so I wanted to tell you guys about that.
Excellent.
We did get a postage machine. We signed up for bulk rate, so now all of our stuff will go out, like the tax bills, the assessment, those will go out at bulk rate, which I can't remember exactly what it is.
It's like 11 cents, I think we save per envelope.
Per envelope,
Right.
And just having the machine, we save 4 cents an envelope.
on anything.
Good deal.
And then elections, we get nonprofit, so that's even cheaper,
And
yeah,
I'm
so
not sure what
instead
that
of
is,
like
but-
2-ounce stamps on each ballot, it's gonna be so much cheaper.
Wonderful.
So we're gonna get that going, so hopefully we can get all the tax stuff out, the assessments out on
Yeah.
that.
We have the machine already, so
Yes.
it should be.
Yes, we just have to hook it up and whatnot. These are not gonna be in your packet anymore. I emailed them to you guys, and I think you get them too, so you don't need to make copies of them. All right, So, new business. We have vacancy of the township supervisor. We had 2 letters, which I shall read. One was from Mr. Nicholas Graver. He said, "Dear members of the board, it has come to my attention that there will soon be a need to appoint a new township supervisor with the resignation of Patricia Allegreen on January 31st, 2022. In an effort to seek a smooth transition of township responsibilities, I offer my help as interim supervisor. While I have no experience as a township official, I do have a firm and lasting interest in the welfare of all residents and programs within the township that are overseen by the board. I plan to stay in the township, raise my family here, and seek to improve and enrich our lives through involvement in this community. While my career demands me full-time, I would be willing to become acquainted with township procedures and ordinances and dedicate additional time to strengthen communication ties where needed, working with elected officials to see that our rural atmosphere is protected while considering the demand for commercial zoning and keeping it aligned with the community future land use plans. I realize taking this position would demand a compromise for all involved, but what time I can offer will be dedicated to making and keeping Casco Township a wonderful place to live and call home. If you would like to further discuss this option, please do not hesitate to call me. Sincerely, Nicholas Graver."
What a wonderful letter.
That was a very nice letter.
Wonderful.
And then we got another letter from Mr. Joe Stevens, our trustee. Casco Township Board of Trustees, did you want to read it?
No.
Okay. Casco Township Board of Trustees. I would like to be considered for the position of Casco Township Supervisor. My 25 years serving as a trustee and planning commissioner, as well as nearly 3 years beforehand as a zoning board of appeals member, has given me the experience, insight, and determination to lead the township. If selected, in addition to the prescribed duties of the office, the major goals of my tenure would be as follows. 1, the development of Marine City Highway Corridor. 2, the continued planning, funding, and building of the Casco Township Bell River Park. 3, improvements of the township's infrastructure to include broadband service to underserved areas. 4, engaged with neighboring communities on issues of interest to both. And 5, openness to public engagement on matters concerning the township residents. As a lifelong resident of the community, I am deeply concerned about the direction and development of Casco Township. I value the rural nature of the township, which makes Casco a preferred place to live. I plan to carry on the commitment to keep Casco rural as long as possible. In addition to my service to Casco Township, I am a 33-year veteran of the United States Air Force and Air National Guard. Thank you for your service.
I
Chairperson
didn't
of
write that.
Chairperson of the St. Michael's Cemetery Committee and serve as elector and usher at St. Augustine Parish in Richmond. Thank you for your consideration. Respectfully, Joseph F. Stevens. Discussion, comments? I would like to know what, since you have a full-time job, what your plans are to work this in.
Well, currently I've been working from home. My, for Stellantis, Chrysler. I plan to work from the office here. I have ability, we have Wi-Fi here, so I can put that, so, and do this job as well. So I'll be on hand. Eventually, there'll be a time when I'll be called back, but I think it's gonna be where I'll be some of the time I'll be working from home. And I only plan to work for another 4 years, going 4 years. Yeah.
So my concern, is I know you're very well qualified and whatnot, my concern is us picking up the slack. Like the clerk's office, we have 3 elections.
Right, no,
And me doing this budget the last 2 weeks has been crazy.
yeah, no,
Very stressful.
Right, I have, if I'm appointed, I have ideas for like a deputy. Yeah.
Then as far as the deputy goes, how is that gonna work?
Deputy, well, I was considering, depending on, once I get a handle the situation, was gonna ask Katie if she'd like to expand her duties.
Okay.
Yeah. The days I couldn't be in the office, if she could be my deputy on those days.
comments, questions, concerns?
Those are tough questions.
So you would be working here at the office?
Yes.
On your left? You would be available
I'll be available.
in the office, and would you welcome interruptions
I'll
of your day?
welcome interruption. Occasionally I may get pulled into a meeting,
Mm-hmm.
but,
Well, we all do,
yeah,
you know.
but, I let my boss know what was going on, and he fully supports that.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that's
and he knows that.
very
And
nice.
like I said, they eventually, because I go out to I've been out to the tech center a couple times, and they're talking about having people work from home now, and,
Mhm.
that's a blended kind of operation, and so, yeah. But no, I'm fully committed to, giving the township, the guidance necessary, especially with the critical timing of developing the Marine City Highway corridor, and with our park, and
And
with.
you've been involved with the park because
Right.
with the park committee, I know we were doing it, yeah.
So, and I feel like I stated in my letter, I have a lot of experience. I've worked with a couple of really good, strong supervisors and other board members that really learned and be on the planning commission's own board of appeals. And also working with county officials, various, with the road commission.
You did training in the Air Force also, didn't you?
Yes, when I was, in addition, I was a supervisor in the munition systems area. And I also was a first sergeant for 6 years, first sergeant of an aircraft maintenance squadron of about 220 people. So you deal with their personnel issues with the first sergeant. And then my last 6 years in the military, I served as an advisor on human resource issues for the one commander. That was 6 years.
Well, I appreciate both of these,
Yes.
but I would make a motion to appoint Mr. Stevens as supervisor of Casco Township.
I'll second that motion.
I think in the motion, we need to say
Until
until,
the
because
2022
November 8th.
August
August
election.
elections.
Yes.
And then you have to run for, will that run until 2024 then?
Yes, it'll just be, continuing this
Continuing
current
this,
term.
yeah.
So it'd be for the rest of
Yeah.
2022 through
Yeah.
2024, and then it would,
And then
that position would be up
enact
for election then.
Yeah, because this was Patty was
Like almost
stepping in for
halfway.
Bill.
Right.
Well, she went and got
She-
elected in
in
2020, yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
how long would this be, till 2024 or 2022?
2022,
The appointment is gonna be
Appointments.
through 2022 until our next election, which is in August. So anybody could run for it, so Joe would put his name on the ballot,
Mhm.
and then we'd have the election,
Mhm.
and then
It'd just be a 2-year term, then, it would
if whoever gets elected in like primary, so if there's more than one person running or whatever, whoever wins that would go to, you know, the two parties or whatever would go to the November.
Mhm.
And then whoever wins the November would be just the rest of this term, so it'd be through 2024.
Four.
And then in 2024, we
The whole
all,
board runs again.
all of them run again, yeah, all of
So
them.
this appointment's actually till November 8th though.
Yes,
No,
Yeah.
yes,
Because
yes,
Mhm.
So
the
Yes.
appointment is, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, so we need to do a vote on that, because we had, let's see, Stover did motion,
Now, is that how the statute reads, or is that?
It's legally
or
we
do we
have
have
to.
some discretion in this?
No.
nope, no
Okay,
discretion,
That's,
it's just how it goes.
that's what I thought, I just wanted
Yeah.
to make sure.
Okay, so we have a motion by Stover, supported by Goldston. We need a roll call vote. Anderson, yes. Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
And Colleen?
yes.
Okay, all yeses, motion carries. Congratulations.
I would like, a letter from the board to go to Mr. Graber
Absolutely.
and tell him of,
Would you like to do that?
I will, the opening on the planning commission.
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
You can't do both.
Right,
So you are the liaison.
right,
to the-
so we have
to
an
the planning
opening for a
commission.
trustee,
Right.
is what we, so we have 45 days to fill the trustee
Right.
position.
And whoever is the trustee will.
Be
I
the
don't
liaison.
think- Right,
So-
unless if Dan chooses, would like to switch over.
But we still have an opening on the planning commission because Dale left.
Right.
So
And
we
the zoning
still
board
have-
of appeals.
So we should get that
Yeah,
out
zoning
there
Board of Appeals.
on the news, that
Yes.
we have these openings and would gladly
We could
entertain.
add that in the
Well, no, I
newsletter.
take that back.
Oh, we
I
could,
take that back. Jerry Keller was appointed,
to the ZBA.
yeah, the
He's a
planning
liaison
commission.
for the ZBA and the
Yeah,
planning
right.
commission. So we just need to fill Dale's spot as a planning commissioner and then the trustee,
Trustee spot.
Yeah.
and then whoever the trustee would go into your spot on the planning commission. So yeah,
And
we can put that
would
right in the
also
newsletter.
be in the 2022 election, that a trustee would
Yes.
have to run again.
Yes, yep, whoever got appointed would go, it would be the
Yes,
same thing
same
through November and then, yep, yep.
So it's a little confusing, but.
Yeah.
So then next month, if we have anybody,
Yeah.
we need to
That's right,
get
because
that out there.
because Bill passed away late in his term.
Mhm.
And when Karen resigned, it was also late in her term, we
Mhm.
appointed Bill Lubin.
Right,
Mhm.
yep.
Right. So,
Yeah.
So
but,
they allowed, so she allowed Bill to run his
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just good to know that there are people out in the community willing to serve. I hope we hear from more of them.
Yes,
But I will certainly thank Mr. Graber for his
yes.
interest.
He's involved, he did
Yes,
the
he's very
little
involved,
market thing that we
and,
had, and
And here to stay.
Mr. Graber.
Yeah, where does he live?
Mr. Graber lives on Meldrum Road, where do you know where the Buchanans used to live, right next door to Fred Telto's house?
Oh, down there,
Going
okay,
south.
yeah, well, do not cut my
Yeah, yeah.
road yet,
Mhm.
as a point of reference.
Yes, as a point of reference. There's a little sign out front that says eggs for sale, I believe. Mhm.
All right, moving along, we have approved purchase of township conference furniture. We found a beautiful, conference table on Amazon, and we also need some new folding chairs, so we found some decent black ones that we liked. So we were gonna get 24 chairs, the folding chairs to replace these.
Okay, and these, this table,
Mhm.
I mean, you can fold up if necessary?
Probably not,
Okay,
that's a big conference table, that will go upstairs.
I see.
Big
Ins-
deal.
Instead of our folding tables.
All right.
Have like a nice conference table.
Okay, all right,
It comes from COVID money, so.
okay, so, okay, I made the motion to authorize the purchase of the 24 chairs, folding chairs, and 8 by 16-foot modern conference room.
It's actually, we picked the 12-foot.
Oh, the 12-foot.
It's a 12-foot with 2 power modules, so it has actually, if we ever get laptops or we need to plug in something, a computer for like a PowerPoint or something, we have
Okay.
power there.
All right, for a cost of $3,622.24.
What?
Motion by Stevens, supported by Goldston. Roll call vote.
I know, I'm sorry, I didn't take up my all
That's
these.
all right. You were good on the first page.
Mhm.
Anderson, yes. Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Colleen?
Yes.
All right, all yeses, motion carries. Now we have approval of the accident fund workers' comp insurance for $1,567. It's just our normal
Mhm.
insurance for that.
Right. I'll make a motion that we pay the bill to Accident Fund General Insurance Company for $1,567. And it's good for 1 year.
It's until December 20th, 2022, yep. Support, anyone?
Support.
Alright. Motion by Stover, supported by Goldston. Roll call vote. Anderson, yes. Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Colleen?
Yes.
All yeses, motion carries. Next, we have adopt the resolution 2022-07. It is a resolution to establish poverty exemption policy. Resolution to establish poverty exemption policy and guidelines and application. This is a normal yearly thing that we do, so,
Okay, I make motion, to adopt resolution, 2022-07, resolution to establish poverty exemption policy and guidelines and application.
Support.
motion by Stevens, supported by Stover, roll call vote. Anderson, yes. Goldston?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Stover?
Yes.
All yeses, motion carries. Next up, we have Keurig Steel. Anybody wanna, you know a lot about it, Colleen, or no?
No, not a lot, that's mostly the building department, however, we have a situation here, where is this?
We revoked his bond
We revoked his bond.
2 months ago or last month, I can't
Uh,
remember.
last month. we
Right,
did.
yeah.
And now we're being asked to
Reinstated,
reinstate that bond.
or unrevoke it, however you wanna
Yeah, unrevoke it, whatever.
This is what I'm gonna
It's
throw
a
this out.
building department.
Right, I'm gonna throw this out there, and I know this isn't how the building department worked, but when we have a bond and it's coming up to where it's gonna be done, okay, you have 2 years to do it.
Mhm.
I think we should have some kind of spreadsheet, or if BSNA has some kind of report, we keep track. And say 2 months from now, you pull up and you say, oh, you know, this Mr. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so, their bond's gonna expire. We send them a letter and say, if there's nothing done in the next 2 months by such and such a date, your bond will be revoked.
Mhm.
Because right now, we don't do that, and I don't think that's right.
And I don't think revoking the bond without a last warning
Exactly,
is
exactly.
a good policy.
So I think here, like, going
We should just
forward,
do
we
that.
should do that.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then if they don't respond, I mean, you know,
Then
and
the
maybe we
bond.
send it registered so that we have proof that it went out, you know, something.
Yeah.
And we can figure that out, you know, with the building department, but I
But
just,
none of the permits were pulled for the buildings involved. There was a question mainly of the plumbing
yes,
permits. And it was thought in the beginning that there are 2 buildings involved here. And the first one was for the storage of equipment for a landscape company. And the second was for personal use
Right.
alone.
I remember
But
this
neither
building.
of these buildings have plumbing in them at all.
Right.
We have been told that it was not necessary to have plumbing in them because the workers who use the first building for storage have keys to the building, the main building.
and it
that
was
they
within
use
so
to-
many feet, so it was
Yes, within
okay.
500 feet, it was okay that you didn't need the plumbing. My question would always be, well, it's a commercial building, is it required in the building packet itself of a commercial building to have plumbing in here? Because what if it wouldn't be our problem, but what if you go to sell it,
Right.
that whole thing?
I vaguely remember that, and I thought they were gonna have bathrooms in one of the buildings.
Well, there is in the main one, right?
Mhm. Well, I heard there was none in either. In the main one, there
The main
is,
one.
yes,
Yeah,
the main
but-
one. And all of the employees of the landscape company
Right.
have keys to that building to do their
But
paperwork
I
and
remember when
to
it
use
was.
the facilities.
Yeah, and I could be wrong, it's been a while, because I thought of those 2 buildings, one of the buildings were gonna have plumbing also.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
But if the building department says that they don't need them, I mean, that's my question. is this building, is it required to have, plumbing in it? And was there supposed to be, somebody out there to inspect, to make sure that there was plumbing in there? And if not, why not?
Did the site plan have plumbing on that?
I'd have to,
That's a real question.
yeah, I'd
I
have to
think.
check it.
Because if it had it, and it was approved with plumbing,
Then they should have it.
yeah, then they should have it, right, but whatever's required.
Mhm.
So,
Unless they wanna
yeah.
come back and revise the plan.
Here's my recommendation. I recommend that we reinstate it and we do some have the building department, whoever, do some research to find out,
Mhm.
was it approved with the plumbing?
With-
If it was,
with
then
the
what
original
happened?
plan. Mhm.
And then go from there, and if we decide, you know, that he needs to do that, we write him a letter, tell him he needs to do that, and go from there, and then if he doesn't do it, then like I said, within whatever amount of time, send a letter, if you don't do this by such and such a time, your bond will be revoked.
Yeah, we just have to check, make
But
sure that.
if we rescind his bond, he'll have his money back without doing any of this.
I don't, well,
And we already did rescind his bond. So it's kind of a moot point.
Right.
but.
So what do we do?
I don't know.
First of all, we check the site plan.
Well,
Yeah,
we can,
we have to
if
check
he's
the-
supposed to have plumbing, it would seem that he's in
Well,
violation.
yeah, we'll check the site.
With or without the bond, he has a problem.
But if he was told, from what I understand, told by somebody in the building department that it was okay, he did not have it,
Okay.
because it was within so many feet of the one building,
And that could have been very well on the site plan.
I guess,
It's
I
been a
think,
while.
I think the building department and others are entitled to make an honest mistake.
Absolutely.
And correct it. But
absolutely.
I think we need to know if he really needs it or not, and that's kind of the bottom line. Because if he doesn't need it,
Well,
it's
I
a
don't
moot
think he
point.
doesn't need it because
Well,
he's been, you
if
know.
it's on the site plan, no matter what the status of the bond is,
Mhm.
he would need it.
Mhm.
And if he didn't have it, he'd have a problem.
Right.
But, you know, how we want to pursue that problem is another question. We
Right.
may not.
So what do we wanna do?
So at the moment, Mr. Perry has his money back.
I
No,
say
he does
He
not.
does not?
We revoked it, which means
We
he
kept it.
didn't
How-
get it back.
how about-
We kept it,
Okay.
it was revoked.
Yeah.
Well, how about we review this, the circumstances behind it,
Yeah.
once we get more facts and.
Why don't we reverse the revocation until we establish whether.
That's
the-
what I
And send him a
would
letter.
suggest to
I
do.
think the notice idea overall is a very good one.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we need more of those kinds of things. And give him another couple of months to, we can all figure this out.
Do we have a site plan?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, sure we
Yeah, we do. We do.
And also, I think Roland needs to be, Roland's been involved in this before, I'm sure.
Looks like it.
Yeah,
So,
looks like it.
yeah, so Roland will also make some comments
So
about
it's
So-
a question,
how he
is it on the
sees
site?
this too, yeah.
Right, so maybe, I don't know if we need to do like a special meeting with Roland,
Yeah.
and all go over it together, we could possibly do that.
Call him like you do, he might just know. Roland sometimes does, just, not always.
All right, so
All right.
we need a motion to reinstate.
I'll make a motion to reinstate the bond for Keurig Steel.
Pending the resolution of the issues that
Yeah.
relate to the site plan and the public.
Okay, yeah, motion amended to match it to this.
It was $5,716.
Yeah, for $5,716.
What do you want council?
Pending the resolution of the issue about the, whether the plumbing is required by the site plan or by the code. I mean, I don't think.
Or the building. Or
Are you
else,
supporting that with that?
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see if also this building plan. Yeah, the site plan is one thing, then you have the plans for the building, that's up to engineer.
Yeah, I mean,
And if those had bathrooms in the main, the one building,
I think
then
so.
they should have had, yeah.
And then we'll wend our way through it and
Yeah.
see if he really doesn't, and if he really doesn't, then
Okay.
there's no reason.
I wanna make sure I have for
All right.
you guys.
she's reading that.
Motion to reinstate the bond of $5,716 pending resolution of plumbing and review of site plans.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so we have motion by Stevens, support by Goldston, we have a roll call vote, Anderson, yes, Goldston,
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Stover.
Yes.
All yeses, motion carries. Yay, we get to the budget amendments.
very colorful.
I was trying to make it easy for you guys.
I know, I know.
I hope you appreciate that. This was 2 weekends of my time here. This was a lot of work, because I don't usually do this, this
I
is
wasn't making
supervisor.
fun
No,
of
I
you.
know. I really wanted to make it easy for you guys. So, does anybody have any questions?
Well, not after you explained it to me all this afternoon,
Okay.
and that, and
What
the
did she
color
have?
coding really helps.
Good.
What did she have to explain to you? Maybe I can benefit from
Okay,
her
I'll just tell you.
experience.
So, how the color coding goes, so this top one, the first, and I'm not sure because we have the new software, and I'm not sure how to do budget amendments in the software. I don't know if I have to necessarily do debit and credit. I might just have to go in. So I'm going to, in the minutes, instead of saying debit this amount, I'm gonna say that this amount was taken from this account on the first line there. So the first account number, 101-101-829, the contracted fire services, right now we have a budgeted amount of $105,000. Our current balance is $97,052.10. So right now, we have an extra $7,947.90 in that account. I'm gonna take $5,760 out of that, so our new budget amount will be $99,240, which still leaves $2,187.90 in that account. So of that $5,760, I'm dividing it in the next 4 accounts, because we are over budget on all of them. Some of them I added in more because, like the planner consultant, we're already over budget on that, but we still have 2 more months to pay him, so I tried to include our expenses for the next 2 months for those. So that's why it still shows the amount on the last column, that there's still like a little bit of money in there, but by the end of March, there won't be. So each section, the first account is where I'm taking the money from, and the ones underneath it is where the money's going. And then this is actually from our software, so if you follow, and the colors aren't exactly the same, but like the second color here is orange, so you follow the oranges, and you could see like the account that's positive, on the bottom here is capital outlay. So I'm taking money out of there and I'm putting it in all these other ones. But if you look, see some of these are underlined in red.
Mhm.
That's not the same thing, that's this one on the bottom, because we ran out of highlighter colors. So we just kind of did what we had to do.
Oh, first world problems.
I'm telling you. So that's for each of these, and I tried to look through the whole budget to see all the accounts that we're over right now, that we make them positive, and anything that I thought that we were gonna go over in the next 2 months, I added money to it. Now, these last 2 on the first page, Dan, these last 2, the yellow and the orange highlighted ones, that is money that we didn't, when we did the budget for like the building department, we only budgeted $35,000 in revenue. Right now, we're sitting at almost $100,000 in revenue. So, but we're way over budget on all the expenses, because along with bringing in money for the building department, we paid all the inspectors, we paid this, we paid that. So, in order to do that, see, we were over 64, or almost $65,000. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add the $65,000 into our licenses and repairs as revenue. So then, at the end, it'll show that we have $100,000 in the budget. By the end of March, we're gonna be over that. But I took, and 65,000, I'm also going to increase these expenditure, the building secretary, the supplies, the building inspector, electrical inspector, heating inspector, and plumbing inspector. So that all of those equal 65,000. Same thing for that last section. This is our ARPA money, our COVID money. So we have to spend that money. Any money that we don't spend, we have to give it back. I'm not giving a penny back.
But we had
Not one.
2024, true? Oh, no, 2020.
26, I believe.
26, yeah.
We have to
So we
let
have
them
a
know
long
what we're
time.
doing. We have to let them know what we're doing by 2024.
Yes.
But if we can figure out what we're doing with it now, by April,
So much the better.
we don't have to necessarily explain ourselves, so we can,
The question I had, when you're reading the article in the Township magazine, when is the money recognized as revenue? It seems as though we have to spend it and allocate it before we recognize it. So I'm kind of puzzled, it kind of,
so we spent it. This is what we spent. That's why if you look at this, I'm only putting 162,000 of that 213.
I see.
The
So
rest of it
it's-
is still gonna be a liability because we haven't spent it.
Gotcha.
And if we don't spend it, we have to give it back, that's why it's still a liability, but
But
we're
that
gonna
won't be,
take
the-
care
oh,
of
that
that.
won't have to be the case.
No,
And there's more coming in, there's another
Yes.
Another
there's
212
200,000 and maybe
next
even more
year.
after that,
Mhm.
a little bit.
I don't think so.
No,
That,
No, that
we
would
got a
be-
little bit already, and it was a little bit, it was like
Yeah,
$854
something
yeah.
like that.
That was the rest of the stuff.
the
Yeah.
big,
So-
the big chunk is still, there's another big chunk.
That is
Another
another big
half.
chunk, yeah.
So these accounts right here, like this bottom one, the hall grounds and maintenance and repair, we're over 100,000, that's all the repairs we've
Mhm.
done. But we knew we were getting this money and that's what we were gonna
That's
use
right.
it for.
Yeah.
So that's why I only did the 162,000 and the balance of it right here, the 50,000. That's still, we haven't spent that yet, so that's still like a liability up there.
This is,
Sorry, I tried to.
Yeah, this is
no, this is
really,
the easiest budget that I have ever.
No, I think it's, looks like you
The
know,
most
it's like a little
understandable
button.
budget that I have looked
It
at
really is easy.
in a while.
Yeah,
Couple
Really?
breakdowns and stuff, it was
Right.
fine, it's
Mhm.
fine.
this,
It's fine.
you shouldn't have had to do this won't happen.
No,
I
Well,
know, I appreciate that, I appreciate that.
Hopefully because you did it so well, you won't inherit
Yeah.
it. Just-
Well,
But it
the
really-
proposed budget still needs to be done. This is just
a
amending this current one. Alright, so if anybody has anything else, are we good? No questions? Alright, so I need a motion and support to approve our budget amendments.
I make a motion to approve the budget amendments. Good job.
Thank you.
Support.
So motion,
It's really good.
thank you, motion by Stevens, support by Goldston. Roll call vote, Anderson, yes, Goldston,
You're doing this next, right?
yes, he will, Goldston, but he can take classes.
Yes.
Okay. Stevens,
Yes.
Stover,
yes.
thank you. Motion carries. I don't wanna see those ever again.
She's gonna go have a bonfire in the back.
As long as there's snow
No,
on
I'm
the
keeping all
ground.
my notes for you, so, okay. Now we are up to unfinished business. We have Mr. Jim Marker and the drain improvement section 23. Who's gonna take us away?
Well, this is a proposal by Mr. Marker, and we talked about it at length. You've talked about it with the drain people.
Yeah.
Mr. Marker is here to talk about it,
Today,
today.
I went up to the drain commission today.
Why
Okay,
don't you
good.
tell us what
Yeah.
they said?
Anyway, the day started out with breakfast, I got out of the house around 10:30. I went to the FSA, or Farm Service Agency, here in the Wadums, and I got them with them wetlands, they get real sticky. And
Yeah,
anyway, I picked this up from Carlos who works up there. This is the, what I was looking for, if they had any wetlands determined on this parcel or this parcel. And they got a wetland, yeah, it's right here,
exempt from conservation compliance provisions.
that's in green dots. You know what I'm saying, there's a green dot there, and there, that's all exempt from conservation or wetlands deal. I thought, oh, good, that's gonna be easy. Well, I come to find out, I had to sign a form. I called the Soil Conservation District yesterday, and, she went across the hall and talked to Carla. I was thinking they had a crew that comes and makes a determination. That, come to find out, I had to sign that parcel, or sign a document, they sent it to Lansing to get a state determination from it, but she anticipated no trouble whatsoever, because it's considered prior converted
Right.
to that wetlands deal, and so I'm hoping that comes back with no problems.
Good.
Then, I thought, well, I'm up here, I go to the drain commission once I found it,
Yeah.
and, talked to that little girl, or that lady in there, and I got this card, this, Tony Yotos.
Yeah. Yotos, I've talked to him,
Yotos, yeah, and he called me this afternoon,
Uh-huh.
and he has no problem with it. I thought he might be here tonight, the way he talked, if his wife would let him out of the house, he was gonna be here.
Oh,
But
Must
apparently
not
he
let him
didn't, he
out.
didn't get, he didn't
Then-
pass the question.
But he was saying that, when I talked to him before, he was saying that it fell into 2 drainage districts, but that's
No,
not.
no, he never mentioned that or nothing, he
Really?
was, basically, I was wishing he was here,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, because, yeah, I think, well, at first we talked about, he says it fell into
I
the
think-
Casco and the Hessen drains, and then he talked to Jim Hartson, who's like the deputy drain.
Yeah.
And I think he maybe said it was only 1 drain.
Right, I mean, like, Casco drain where I live over here in section 10
Right,
ends up dumping into Swan Creek drain,
Right,
which goes to Anchor Bay. Meldrum drain, isn't it? Or Hessen
that's the
drain.
Hassan drain.
Hessen drain eventually goes into Swan Creek and into Anchor
And
Bay.
Anchor
That's
Bay.
where he must have been coming up with the 2 drainage systems.
Mm-hmm.
They all probably basically end up in the Swan Creek that is the main direct line.
yeah, at first he was saying, Tony was saying it fell on your property on 2, and our property in 2, but it looks like it's only the
I
1.
don't think so, just the one.
And, but he was, did he say anything about a state permit or
No.
Oh, really? Okay.
He did say, when he found out that the township owns that property, the guy that's gonna do the tiling out of Peck, Michigan, reputable tile guy, but anyway, Sanilac County gets a $75 drain fee, while $175 in St. Clair County.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought, well, it was
Well,
$100, but anyway,
Whatever.
he said it could be exempt because the township owns that property where I'm coming on to
Good,
get to that creek.
yeah.
So,
Well,
good news to
Get an
me.
exemption,
Yeah,
fine.
okay, so basically you're just, what they say, you're gonna have to just pull a permit with the, county.
Right,
Okay.
Mhm.
Right.
That's all.
Cause at first he was talking about a state permit and
Oh,
all that.
jeez.
right, I
Yeah.
mean, there
Yeah.
again, that can get
Yeah.
kinda.
Right.
hairy.
Right,
You
I
know-
think they looked into it and they was found out it didn't meet the criteria
Right,
for the
I
state.
mean, he was a heck of a good guy to talk to, that's why I was hoping he was here when I got here.
Now, you also talked to your attorney,
Oh, about that drain easement,
yeah,
I brought just for show and tell, I don't have to have it, but what I'd sleep better at night if I did. It's, right here, this was, I looked in my safe, I knew I had it. This has happened 78 years ago with our water well on Hessen Road. You can, don't tear it, see what I got. Saying that,
Can we make a copy for you?
well, you can take one for yourself, it's public record.
I can make a copy for you too, so you have that and
Right.
a copy.
Please don't destroy it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, that was with that drain easement, my lawyer, you know what I'm saying, he farms tons of acres, he look in the plot book and see what the buyer boys own. They got a little page and a half, immaterial. And like with that easement, it's never come into play ever. But when my grandparents in 1944, I think it was, had that drawn up, and it's got a Lieber and Page number, and it's recorded
1943.
for 43.
Oh, my. Well, that's a document.
And anyway, with this drain easement, if someone was to buy that property from the township,
Mm-hmm.
and if I don't have a document, yeah, you own the property, but I got an easement,
Mm-hmm.
and you cannot tear that drain tile out to get to the creek. And that's what that is, that, you know what I'm saying, it protects my grandparents and the Piper's Acts were in agreement to it. The only thing I can't do is work on Sunday on that well, because she was pretty religious,
Mm-hmm.
and it stayed rated.
Oh, I see. So do we need to draw up paperwork then?
yeah, that I'll find out,
Okay.
yeah.
Right, I mean, so far today, my day has been going very well. You know what I'm saying with it? FSA and with the Drain Commission. And
Right.
I'm hoping with you people too, you know,
Yeah,
it's been a
no,
good
let's,
day.
Well,
if we could do something to make this easy, we'll go ahead.
Right.
and do
Right, that's why,
Yeah.
you know, I guess I could have come on a moonlit night and hooked up there and put it in and
Just-
nobody
nobody
would
would've
have
Nobody
known,
would even
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Right, I don't
but
do
then you
business
wouldn't
like
sleep
that.
well, would
Right.
you?
Right,
No.
So, would you, an easement? So we have to work with our lawyer
that. Yeah.
to draw up an easement for you,
right.
yes.
You retain all the ownership,
Yes.
it's just that if somebody ever, if you
But if
lease,
somebody
or
buys
if
it, we
somebody
have
buys
to,
it,
we have to divulge to that person that
Right.
there's an easement.
Then it's-
And that happens all the time.
Does it?
Yes. Mhm.
you
Yeah.
deal with the township?
Oh, yeah, well, because people buy property and we say, you know, there's an easement on here from DTE
Right, I
to this or
mean,
that.
the utilities
Everybody,
especially,
yeah, everybody
that
needs
parcel,
to.
that 10 acres, there's an
Yeah.
easement, cause the
Yeah.
power lines
And
run,
if
there's no
there's
towers on it,
paperwork
but the
filed,
lines go over the
Yeah,
property and they got
right.
probably a
There's a-
Yep.
100 or
but
200
it's
foot
just they would
easement.
look into
Yeah.
this
Right.
when they're buying the property.
The title search should show that.
Exactly,
Right.
Right.
that's exactly what it
And
is.
that's why you do title
So
searches.
yes, we'll look into it. We'll call our Siebert and Delasky and see what we can do about getting an easement on, and I have your little section.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we can do a copy of that too.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
So do we need to do a motion or support right now, or
No,
this will
just,
still just be
it's in
unfinished?
progress.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is to be
But, I mean,
continued.
we're
I
not,
will give.
you know, we're not gonna hold up your
Right, well,
your
they can't
project.
have this time of year anyway,
Yeah.
but
Right,
I don't wanna wait till June, July and
Yeah.
say, hey, by the way, can I?
Mhm, yeah,
You know?
exactly.
so we'll put this probably on next month's
Mhm,
agenda
mhm.
again, okay. And you get to run the meeting next month. Just saying,
Oh, my.
just saying.
No, but as far as that
What do you
grade,
usually, tell me usually what is the width of an easement of this nature, do you know?
well, I think the pipe is only gonna be like an 8 inch, but
Yeah.
if you ever had to come in with a machinery,
Yeah.
you could go down to 50 foot and I could sleep with it.
Yeah.
You know, I just put that as a number.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a standard width for an
Right.
easement.
Okay,
And the location isn't gonna interfere.
It would be like on-
no, because it's right to the border
Right
of
to
it,
the
so.
edge, right on the edge.
Yeah. So good.
Yes,
I mean, just so we know we're on the same page
Yeah.
and, yeah, it's,
Understood.
I mean, just like with that, they're probably never, guaranteed that by lifetime, I'm thinking. But
Yeah,
I'm saying it is always recorded, it's public record, the Lieber and page number,
and we'll have a
Thank-
copy in
and-
our files
right,
too, for
right,
that property.
right?
right,
And consumers own it now,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't even know there was, they must not have done title work on that property they bought. But
Oh,
I can't figure that out, they're pretty,
they're pretty, yeah, they
efficient.
have a whole department to
right,
do
I
that sort of
had to
thing.
explain to them, I give them the Lieber and page number,
Yeah,
and then they said, yeah, you're right.
oh, yeah, well,
I
that's
kinda
good.
figured I was.
Good, well, good, we're not holding up your project, but we will do our best to move this forward for you, from our end of it anyway.
Mhm.
Good. Okey-doke.
all right, so we will put that on next month's agenda and go from there. So next, we are up to the Casco Township Bell River Park sign, from Phillips Sign and Lighting. So, looks like, they were having some issues with the sign that we had done, so
Yeah.
they need to attach a,
They just need to put a pole, a cross number in back of it.
okay,
This was explained back in September, when they picked up the sign. And we're paying them 3 times as much we would have paid Dick's signs up for here to install. But the supervisor at the time didn't.
didn't wanna do it,
Yeah,
wow.
so, this was never followed up, so I make a motion that we pay Phillips sign.
Yep.
And I told them, I was told, when I was talking to Mr. Philp, he called me, and I told him exactly what I told him in September, exactly the same. He goes, oh, you said that? Yes, I did.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Keep notes.
yeah,
Confirming letters.
yeah.
All right, so Joe made a motion, do we have a support?
I'll support.
Stover supported. I don't think this needs to be roll call, does it?
That we just, is there a amount?
It's $600.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll do roll call. All right, so, let's see. All right, Anderson, yes. Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Colleen?
Yes.
All yeses, motion carries. Now we are up to citizen comments.
Anything else, Jim?
Nope. No speech.
Bill Steeler, two questions. One pertaining, I think, to the funds that you were talking about with the budget, you called it COVID money,
Yes.
totaling roughly $500,000. So what I heard was a lot of it's going to catch the township up, make the facilities nice, which the people use. But is there any thought of using any, or can we use any of that money for people of the township?
We plan on, looking into different things, but, we had repairs that we needed to get done here. And, I mean, the hall is for the people too, so.
It is.
Yeah.
Agree, I totally
Yeah,
agree with
yeah.
that. I just,
So we do have a chunk of money left, and we as a board will discuss it and figure it out. I mean, we have our park, so maybe there's stuff we can do there. Maybe there's stuff we can do with it here, as far as, you know, a gazebo or something that people could use, or, you know, whatever.
so there are thoughts in that direction
Absolutely.
rather than
Yeah.
having
Absolutely.
administration just chew it all up,
No,
because that's a
we're
nice
all
big
open
chunk
to,
of
We
money.
don't have,
Right.
we
We're
just
open
don't
to
have that
hearing
much.
suggestions.
Yeah.
Right,
You know, from-
Right.
I just wish we
Well,
had
Well, I
more
trust
property
you're gonna
around
do that. I just-
Township Hall, so we
Right.
could have a
Yeah.
gazebo
right.
or
I
something
was
like
gonna
that.
say, don't make it too big or you.
Well, yeah,
enough
we'll be
land.
right on yeah, we
Right.
just don't have the land around
Right.
here.
Right,
Oh, I wish we did.
There's some constraints,
yes.
and they're now been sort of clarified, I guess, because it wasn't always clear. And they're available on the, I think, MTA, and also the federal
Yep.
websites of what we can and can't do with them.
But we'll all be
Those funds.
brainstorming, so anybody who has any good ideas about
I was gonna
that.
say, do you have any ideas,
Yeah.
Bill? You know
Let
what
us
I'm saying,
know.
that for the overall goodness of the township?
Well, now that I kind of understand a little bit more, I can put some thoughts towards
Yeah.
that, but,
Good.
you know, I remember, I was here the night the gentleman presented the money, I'm going, and for so all that time, I'm going like, wow,
Wow. Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
lot of tackle.
that doesn't
Yeah.
happen very, that doesn't happen very often.
Right.
But at that time, you had to write something in order to get
To
it,
get it.
and so my first question was gonna be, did you get it, but I know that now, so.
Mhm. Well,
The other,
these two ladies, yes, indeed, we did.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other item, I've not seen this before, this check register, and so just looking it
Oh,
over,
it's all different.
yeah,
Yes,
So,
it's our
We're
new
all-
software.
We're all getting used to it, you
I'm a
know.
spreadsheet kind of person, and so
Yeah.
my focus, all of a sudden I saw 3 retirements in here, and that totals
Oh,
25,000.
that's the retirement fund. Yeah,
I-
okay, yeah.
When I put it through, should have said pension, not retirement.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my fault.
Yeah, when I saw mine, I thought they were
You
giving
could
me a
buy
party,
three-
but
Well,
I didn't
because
know
I
about.
Watch
maybe I
it.
didn't know something else was going on.
Yeah, me too.
I shouldn't have worded it that way.
But those are pension reports, yeah.
So are those trying to catch up those pensions, or is that every month, that amount of
No,
money?
no.
No, that's a yearly.
Every
Okay,
year.
It's
because
part
up
of-
here it says, okay.
Yeah,
It's part of
Yeah.
the salary.
but it comes
So
out
it's in
this
your
time of
budget
year.
somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That
those
had
items.
nothing, that's budgeted.
I thought,
for.
well, I wanna get invited to that.
Yeah,
party.
me too,
Right?
me too.
Yeah, Kelly thought we were getting
Really?
in there.
Oh, I
I
was
thought
like,
it was a surprise.
I'm like, that would have been a hell of a party.
oh, it should be. That's all I have.
Yeah, that was a shock.
Bill, you called Roland?
Yes?
Okay, good.
Oh, good.
All right,
Okay,
that's it.
I'd like to make a comment. First of all, I'd like to thank the board for selecting me as supervisor. I have a lot to learn, especially what you went through, that was wrong, I vow that would never happen.
Well, we're all here to help too.
Yeah.
It's a team effort.
But I'm committed with our goal to keep Casco as rural as possible, as long as possible. And I discussed with our, one of the big things toward that, with the Wayne City Highway Corridor, is with our planner, Steve Casson, when we were down there at Ira Township a couple weeks ago, about establishing an urban growth boundary along there, so we know the development will occur along, when I say highway, but to contain that growth. And, I just wanna let you know that if you feel, drifting off course or needing correction, please let me know as soon as possible. I value everybody's input. You're very smart people. I've learned more than you can imagine, each and every one of you. I'll be here at the office. I called out to, if there is a conflict, we'll work it out. And, but I don't anticipate anything big, so, and I'm looking forward to in about another 4 years, I'll be retiring full-time from my full-time job and be committed here. But I'll be available 24/7 if you ever need to contact me about it.
Oh, good, because you're gonna be the first contact for the alarm company, so if it goes off in the middle of the night.
Well, thank you again, and it's I can't believe, it's hard to believe when when my dad, at the time when he was building inspector, I can remember, they had inspectors, had to do a monthly or quarterly report to the board. And I remember sitting on the bench along the wall here, and that was when Stan Beach was clerk, and,
That's Stern?
well, Des Stern was on, and I'm not sure if he was a trustee or the supervisor, because they went through, remember when Vince acted?
Was a supervisor?
Yeah, but he was when they changed the tax and people, it wasn't even his fault, they were tormenting the poor man, he resigned on that, but I think Des became supervisor. So, I'd like to do some research into that.
Well, we appreciate your willingness and your sincerity.
Yes.
Yeah.
We really do.
It's been a rough
Yeah.
past couple of years, and I
Yeah.
mean, we've all had to do
Yeah.
extra, and
Yeah,
like I said, we have 3 elections this year, we have
right,
so much, like, our calendar is just crazy.
and
Yeah.
We've had to cancel vacations and stuff because of this election.
And our assessors have worked overtime
Yes.
to get
Yes.
everything. And we're well thought of in the county, and we like to keep that reputation.
Yes.
and, yeah, things, I'll be attentive to the needs of
We appreciate
I have
that.
I have a list for you.
Very much.
no,
And I feel confident piecing it out,
okay.
and I think it's over this is.
Absolutely.
Till things that shows.
All right.
He does listen, and he even takes a rant sometimes.
There you go.
You know, what can you
He's
say?
probably gonna have to take some from us too.
I'm sure, he can do it.
If you don't make it personal, that's fine.
All right, if there's nothing else, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support that.
Stover motion. Support, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, 7:58, that's 8 more minutes than
I
last
still
time.
can't fill the shoes of double
Still on an hour.
You have your own shoes and your own footsteps.
I really